Okay, welcome to the Nothing to Prove, Only to Share podcast. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh man, so usually we're in Richard Meddick's studio, and he really comes through with the claps. And I was worried. I was worried that it would be a little lull today, and I came at it very gently, and you really showed up there.
I'm compensating for Richard's.
Thank you so much
being here.
Today's guest is Jackie Rae Daniels. Hello.
Hi.
I'm excited for this chit chat because we have never met.
Yes.
IRL. I saw you for the first time at a songwriter round at White Squirrel, and I was honest to God blown away.
Aww.
I loved your songs.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
I'm excited to dig into it and hear more.
Cool.
Do you want to give us a little introduction? Slightly. I did actually. I pulled up your Instagram right before you came in, and your bio was really nice. And
what was it like?
It was kind of an introduction.
Okay.
So
I think I just put 5 things that I'm into.
I loved it. It made me feel like I knew you.
Awesome. Yeah, fiddler, yoga, traveler, and stay at home, homebody. Something
Incredible.
like this.
What else?
I am into so many things. It would be an incredible laundry list. I'm one of those people that wants to get my hands in on everything, and especially if it serves art in some way, shape, or form. And I think it's been just kind of part of my process as I develop as just a creative person and dedicating my life to that. Where it's I can't just do songwriting. I can't just do fiddle playing. I can't there's got to be all these other avenues.
Yeah.
It just keeps the creatives going.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel all those things are intertwined too.
Mm-hmm. They influence each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that. I love that. Where are you from?
I grew up outside of Chicago.
Okay.
In a northern suburb.
Okay, right on.
White picket fences and 2.5 kids and a dog type of situation.
Love that. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty lame.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're here now.
It's all
and
good.
You look really cool and
Thank
fun. You made it out.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
Were you making music?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom is a fiddle player, violinist as well, and she got me started. Me and my siblings all started when we were 4 years old, right around the time when we could really form sentences and be mobile. She's like, "What instrument do you want to play?" And so I wanted to be just like her. And so about 5, just right before I turned 5, I started violin lessons.
Damn.
And, yeah.
That
never
shows.
stopped.
Yeah. When did you start singing?
Singing was for a long time not something I ever took seriously, and was just something that was more like an activity. My mom and I would go to church, on Sundays, and we would sing too. There was a really great program in Chicago. If you grew up around there, you'd probably remember Breakfast with the Beatles. Okay. And we would just try and pick out a harmony that they're not already singing, And
oh my God, cool. That's
it was really just just something we all kind of did, and was very fun and loose and
cool.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with a musical family?
It wasn't. It was the focus and wasn't the focus. My mom would get us up before school, and we'd practice before we did anything else really. And so it just kind of became part of the routine. And none of us it was always just kind of a cool thing that we did, but it wasn't ever this high pressure thing.
Yeah.
It was almost other families pursue soccer and sports and stuff, and we were more
music
go
family,
to music lessons, and play classical music mostly was
cool. What
was going on.
Do you still have that habit of practicing
before anything else?
No.
I'm really grateful for it, because it was one of those things once I hit high school and stuff, and it wasn't as cool necessarily to be playing orchestra music, although it was absolutely a passion of mine. It was just harder to keep up with when you're getting social circles going and things like that. And my parents were always pretty if you're going to take lessons, you need to practice. So it kind of got me through that hump of this is a pain in the butt, and because I do it every day. So that would be a part of my day that I don't have. And then what do I do? So it kind of, that routine really did, I think, in a lot of ways help. And to this day, practicing is absolutely part of my routine to an extent. It's just very different.
Sure, for sure. Yeah, I always get mad at my parents for not forcing me to learn an instrument as a kid.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, to start a routine like that of practicing every day.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where it's at. And it was like, just like, brushing your teeth, like you
Yeah.
don't necessarily fight it, and like all your other siblings have to do it. So you're not like, you can't like, if you're going to put up a fight, like you just don't get to do it,
Yeah.
So.
In your adult life, have you made music with your family?
So my older brother and I were in a John Mellencamp cover band called Melon Cougar for a while, and that was actually like super fun.
Awesome.
Yes, totally, like duh.
Obviously.
And that was actually pretty epic. We did get to play with like the original bass player at some
Oh my
point.
God,
like
that's
Toby
so
Myers.
cool.
We got to do some cool stuff. And if you've ever been in a cover band or anything, like you can book some pretty big shows, and people love it. So that was kind of in my early 20s, mid 20s. Me and my sister grew up playing like the classical competitions together. She doesn't really play music too much anymore. And then me and my mom, during pandemic, I had to shuttle up with them for a bit. And me and my partner and my mom put out a little EP.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
really, really sweet. Yeah, and all the proceeds for that go to a corporation called To Write Love on Her Arms, which is like all about mental health and like anybody in crisis and like getting them resources and
Wow,
help and
I love
stuff.
that. What is it called?
The album's called In the Blood.
Cool. I
Yeah.
will listen.
Yeah, please.
That's awesome. Very cool. Is there anything that you're working on making right now?
Always. As I just released an album last October, and I'm kind of one of those people that like it definitely takes a few years, not only just to like get the idea fleshed out, but also like resources and pursuing like my own songwriter, whatever realm is there's other things going on all the time. I feel like I have to really try and stay on that path, and it's really easy for me to get like kind of off it. So it does take me a while, but there's always tunes cooking, and I've got some pretty epic ideas flowing around right now that I'm like, I need resources for that.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your album that just came out last year?
Sure, yeah.
I listened to I wrote it down.
Yeah.
A Canyon Mind.
Canyon Mind.
I really liked that one.
Cool.
I also loved the album art.
Thank you.
Who
That's
did
all
that?
me.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Thank
you. Gotta see
you.
it. It's beautiful. You'd like it too.
Yeah, I just kind of got into photography. I bought myself a nice camera. I know I'm supposed to answer the other question, but
No, it's okay. We can.
yeah,
go.
the album art. So I've been pursuing photography kind of just as a necessity. Like a lot of other things I do, I'm like, oh, that serves my career, or music for me. And I love photography. I used to do a lot of film stuff way back in the day. So yeah. And so it's super fun to like, and just, I love how it's like nothing to prove, because it is totally that with art, I think. So I had a lot of fun making the album art.
It's stunning.
Thank you. Thank you. I had an idea and it happened. That's how that goes.
That's awesome. Yeah, tell me about like putting that together maybe.
Yeah, I had this really distinct vision or like idea about having a harp on an album, and just having it be the feature, like just this very fluid, watery, whatever, just murky, not murky, that's not the right word, but I think you get the vibe, like just really flowy, dreamy, that's more. And so I was kind of hooked on that idea, and we ended up in Utah, my partner and I, right before moving here for a couple of years. He was going to grad school for jazz performance on guitar. And so he was all hooked up with the professors in the music department, and I just kind of happened to get to know them, and they were like really into not they were, but the one particular, the harp professor and the drum professor were into it. So, and then I found a really awesome bass player in Utah, and it just was like, let's do this. They had a cute little studio in Logan at Y Sound, shout out. They have a really cool venue and stuff too, and support local artists. So
cool.
It was an affordable thing. I did a little GoFundMe. I was like, I'm not really into doing the all or nothing, and like I'm kind of like whatever resources I can get, like I'll use them. So I did a GoFundMe and like just a fundraiser essentially for a pretty reasonable amount, and yeah, was able to make it happen.
That's awesome.
The musicians were way into it, which always helps. I don't always find that. Sometimes I'm like either having to hire or I'm the hired gun or something. You're just kind of doing it but everybody was like really into the project, and it just, one of my rules was nobody's going into this. We're not like working on this in a bad mood, you know, like it's kind of like, I just want a joyful experience because, I don't know. It's stupid, I think, to go into the studio pissed off. I'm
Absolutely.
And you can, like, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
In the recording,
In
like
the
you
music,
can feel it in the music.
Yeah. And this wasn't like, it was kind of a depressive subject in a sense. I don't know. I'm always like, let's go like look really hard at the dark shit because there's how you find the light, you know, like, so it's kind of about dealing with suicidal, ideation, whatever, just experiences and just trying to stick through it for when it gets a little bit lighter and just different experiences in the realm of pandemics and, other life things. So yeah, just kind of came together in a way that I was really happy with. I also wanted this chaotic undertones. I was really into like there needs to be dissonance, there needs to be resolve, there needs to be texture, there needs to be like one of the songs, the title track, Stay a While. The idea is that it just starts off in this cacophony of, I was like, come on, crazier. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, get crazy. And like kind of pumping everybody up in the studio to just let her rip. And then just coming into these resolve moments.
Cool.
Yeah, because I think that's really, for me at least, life has been very much like that.
Word. Cool. I will definitely give it a full listen.
Cool.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Did you move here from Utah?
I did.
Okay, cool. So how long have you been here?
Pretty much a year to almost the day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I love it. Yes, thank you.
Everybody's being nice to you?
Oh my, everybody's so, that's why I moved here.
Yeah.
Every time I came through town, everybody's so freaking nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love it. I had my eyes on the Twin Cities for a while and
Cool.
yeah.
Was there
really
anything specific?
pumped. Honestly, it really was the music scene.
Yeah, word. Okay. Word.
Yes. I mean, and the thing is, y'all recognize that
Yeah.
shit. Like, I think that's really badass because, you know, some places are like music towns. Like, I've lived in Nashville, I've lived in Austin, Texas, and Portland, Oregon, and like these kind of like hot music scenes. And there's just nothing quite like what's going on here. A couple words come to mind where it's like accessible and eclectic and healthy. You know, like I know that there's always, you know, issues with like making money and venues paying and things like that, like, but that's everywhere, honestly. But overall, there's this really healthy attitude towards like create music, art, share it, people show up, you know, and there's space for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's not, that's just what I've been experiencing.
Yeah, I love that. I work for Live Nation, and I just worked a show, and people are coming from out of town, and somebody was like, what do people come here for? Like, what do people come here to, like, pursue for, like, their... And I was, like, you know, trying to talk about the city and, like, the people that I know in it and what they're up to. And I was like, the music scene is really awesome. And she was like, really?
I mean, and that's the thing. There's nothing, like... particularly flashy.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like no Broadway from Nashville or 6th Street in Austin or, you know.
Yeah.
There's not like this like, once I make it here and that, like it's, you know, it doesn't have that kind of vibe, but it has like the shit here to like allow art to grow into something really cool and different. There's, you know, you're not trying to like fit in or elbow your way in constantly. It's like, there's plenty of room. Yeah. You know?
It also feels like such an open-minded audience.
Yes.
The city feels like such an open-minded audience.
I like that you said eclectic, and that's a great word to use to describe what's going on.
Yeah.
And because it's so eclectic, you have
do
those
whatever
open-minded
the fuck
people.
you
Do whatever the hell you want.
Yes.
Who cares? Someone's
And
gonna
people
like
will
it.
show up. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in a really sincere way.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
like, and that's kind of my jam, man. Like, I don't really like to narrow myself into like a genre. Like, I've done a straight bluegrass band. I've done, you know, just songwriter. I've done all sorts of different kinds of music, you know, the John Mellencamp stuff and whatever. And I just really like to keep expanding and doing different stuff with music. I don't like to just follow one thing. And a lot of times in certain music scenes, it's like, you got to be this or there's nothing for you here. Like, you can't do experimental shows, like, you know, without, I don't know what it would take to do something like that in like, you know, another music city.
Yeah, we're lucky for sure.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, and I get inspired every time I go out.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter if this is someone's first show or they're, you know, some epic, you know, well-seasoned musician. Like, it's all, I don't know, been really impressed.
Yeah, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that. That is like the majority's experience.
Yeah.
What's up? Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I love, and I think, yeah, you're right. It is so inspiring. I feel like that's been a part of my creative process is like going out and being a part of the community too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's kind of an organic, like showing up kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, people just they show up when they can and they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
I love that.
Yeah.
Who have you been playing with in town?
I have been very fortunate to play with Miss Sammy Jean, who I saw you
love
had.
her.
Yeah, duh, she's amazing. I hope I don't forget anybody. I recently been playing with the Foxgloves, subbing in for them, and that's been just one of the biggest joys. And then I just played a show with Megan and the Birdwatcher. They're really incredible. If you haven't checked them out, she's got a very cool sound.
Cool.
And let's see. I've done a handful of shows like Sharing a Bill. I was going to suggest if you don't have him lined up at all yet, Will, the Cottonwood Shivers.
Okay.
He's like a one really, really cool. Definitely worth checking out Will. He was one of the first artists I saw at a Songwriter Round.
Cool. Right on.
Very cool. Yeah, off the top of my head, that's what I got. And I hope I'm
Cool.
not
No, that's okay.
forgetting something.
They'll forgive you.
Okay.
Do you do the Songwriter Round often?
I was supposed to do one last week, and I totally biffed. I like wrote down the wrong date, and
shoot.
so I had to give it away. So I've only done one so far.
Okay. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I made it to that one. That's really cool. I also so the day that I was gonna like reach out to everybody to like book, Jackie followed
Yes.
the Instagram.
Yeah,
and
that's
I was like,
so funny.
I was
I'm
just
like,
gonna.
I'm kind of like, I have a lot of spooky shit like that all the
Hell
time.
yeah.
I'm just like,
Hell yeah.
I feel the vibes. I'm open, bro. Like this channel is like on.
Hell yeah. I was kind of going there when I was writing my notes because I noticed yoga in your thing. And I'm right now trying to put together an application for the Cedar Commission. And I think I want to, and if this is not for you, like we can totally change the subject. But I think I want to figure out a way to like, because for me, I feel like meditation and spirituality, all of that intertwines with like my creativity. And when it comes to like actually creating, I think that's where I go is like somewhere else, much like I feel with yoga.
Yep.
Do you feel like your creative process is intertwined with that part of your life too?
It is now. I went through a pretty big lifestyle change a few years ago, and just to be blunt, and I'm totally open to talk about it or not, but I got sober about 4 or 5 years ago almost.
Awesome.
And so my mentality, my whole mindset had to shift in a pretty serious way. So I got really into meditation and yoga as like the friggin', I feel like it's like such a, what am I thinking of? Cliche or something,
Yeah,
right?
hippie woo.
Yeah,
shit,
totally. But you know what? I found communities around those two things that don't get too like hippy dippy into. I feel like wellness can have a real toxicity to it.
Oh yeah, totally,
right. So
yeah.
easy, just like so many other things. And so I really tread lightly with how I share, but I did get certification in specifically like trauma-informed yoga.
Wow, cool.
And then I have a pretty cool meditation group that I'm with, and it's like it's mostly just like having community and I don't know, just like finding other ways to live in reality, if that makes sense.
For sure.
And as far as like what it does to my creative process, it allowed me to find a safe space with my creative process, because I don't know if probably a lot of people can relate maybe, but you know, I used to like get fucked up and be able to like go into my outer
That
like
place,
creator
yeah.
like and so I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of be able to find that safe space within myself, and it's really, I will say, unbelievably so much more vibrant than it ever was.
Yeah.
You know, like it took a while. It took like a solid, and a while for me is like, you know, 6 months or a year. I'm like, I ain't got time to like wallow in shit. But, you know, I really did take my time. And so meditation and yoga just has allowed it to be like, okay, I'm in reality. I'm grounded. Now what else is there? Because reality is pretty trippy, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
That's so beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that. I have somebody really close to me that is sober and has been for the last few years. And we've had similar conversations about like, even the idea of like being yourself or like having fun without a substance. I hadn't thought of that as far as like the creative process goes, but
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people resonate with that big time.
Yep. It's a trip for sure.
Damn. We haven't defined success yet. Do you want to talk about that?
You know, I think success is kind of a garbage word because it does this thing where it's like this blanket, you know, this like destination, like what is this success? And for me, it's just never panned out that way. And I've felt a disdain towards that word, honestly, since I was like probably in high school or something. Because I just didn't work the same way as everybody else, and not to be like I'm terminally unique or anything, but you know, like the school thing was different for my brain and my just regular old self. Anyway, so I didn't have the successes of like great grades, even though I was trying really hard, you know, or whatever. Like, and so success was always just like, well, that's garbage. That's not that isn't for me then. In a way that like that story doesn't like line up for me. And I've just kind of realized that it's little things. It's always like these little wins or these little, you know, kind of pats on the back from the universe, or not even that, but just like I am enjoying this moment. You know, I really do think that success is kind of this, and it's also very fluid. You know, it's going to change totally depending on my needs. Like life doesn't stay the same. Like you don't have like the same needs as you did when you were 5 years old. You know what I mean? Like that's just how that goes.
Yeah.
So to have this, like once I have this or once this happens, success or even what is successful, like honestly, it's just a feeling. You know,
It's made up.
I totally made up. I don't buy into it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Success is just a construct.
Total construct. Arbitrary fucking, totally arbitrary bullshit that society puts on you to make you be productive or try to.
Yeah. You had mentioned earlier that like your family didn't take it so seriously, like it wasn't competitive or anything like that.
Nope.
Do you, now that you're like pursuing music, does that come up? That feeling to be competitive or that feeling to, you know, take it so seriously or whatever? Yeah.
There was a time when I got into playing bluegrass and I was like, I got to be this hot lick fiddle player, you know, and like really had it in my mind that I needed to have that kind of status and that kind of recognition, especially from the boys club. Like I needed that. And it really kind of destroyed a lot of fun for me. And honestly, that took me probably the longest to get back to being like, okay, I can play bluegrass again and not be such a dick about it, you know, because, there's certain realms, and classical music was very much like that too, which is why I have never pursued that in a professional sense. There's a certain technical skill level that is not satisfying for me. That is not where the passion comes from. And it kind of fucks shit up for me.
Yes.
Totally understand how it can go really well for another brain, you know, another experience. But for me, it's just, and I enjoy it. I enjoy listening to it, but yeah. So that was pretty much, I had to put a kibosh on that whole bullshit for myself because it does not bring me joy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm feeling like, I'm thinking about you pursuing music, and you said you were in Nashville?
Yes,
too?
for a minute, yeah.
Like, were you, I assume you were, like, surrounded by people that had that mindset of, like, being competitive?
Oh, to an extent, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I think that part of maybe what makes the city so great is that maybe, I think most people have this take of, like, it's not that serious, or, like, everybody can be here, or we can fuck around and try new things. Yeah. I think it's really hard to, I've been trying to kind of identify it because I want to bottle it up and give it to everybody. Yeah, for real.
But dude, you know, it's this fine line about like not taking things too seriously, being okay with, the word that's coming to mind it's not the right, maybe context or but like moderate. Right? You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Say more.
Right? This is the word. Mediocre, which is not exactly what I'm trying to say, but it's in context of that skill level, that like that flashy playing, that like really clean, blah, blah, blah. Like, and it's not to say that that's not here. It's just not the focus. It's not like the thing that like people need. And you hear music all the time that is like raw as fuck or like, you know, just kind of weird or whatever. And like that kind of shit like always has stirred me, you know, more than something flashy. So I think there's this okayness maybe with mediocrity and being able to like, that That is just not the right word.
No,
there's
but I'm
going to be a better
sure,
one.
Yeah.
Because that word has such a kind of different connotation to it that
that doesn't
mean.
apply here. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're trying to say, and I also can't think of the word, but it's like I'm gonna talk about JT Bates for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
In this context, like we all know JT can he can fucking rip, he can do it, but a lot of the time I hear JT doing really simple thing, like very serviceable, just making the music happen.
Yes.
And it's not like we know he's not mediocre.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really it. Like it's like
simple?
trying to keep things simple, keeping things.
Yeah, like looking past the complexity that it could be. Like it could be complex. It could be this really big thing, and sometimes it should be. But a lot of the time it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
It can be not mediocre.
Not yes.
That's the word.
I know.
Some other secret third
thing. It can
thing.
be that secret thing.
Secret third thing. That's what's here.
Yeah.
And I think it's just this space for it, and like this and like a welcome to like the beginner's mind type of thing, just like I don't know, but it's really special and I love it. I'm like, that is my fucking jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really special. It's really it's special.
Yeah. And one more time, we're so lucky.
Yeah.
Yes.
So lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So grateful. Let's talk goals, maybe.
Okay.
You said that you kind of have something going on in your brain. Any specific? This one thing going on.
Just one.
Are there any specific goals that you're working towards right now?
Musically.
It doesn't even have to be musically.
Okay. I mean, like in life, like we're really trying to still get settled here. Me and my partner, like we're just kind of hitting some bumps in the road. The place we're living in, they're selling the house, have to move. Like it's like these life stuff's happening right now that some are kind of heavy and just like trying to navigate. So that's like kind of the forefront is like, and it's wonderful because like I'm not in crisis mode. I'm just like, whoa, we really got to figure some shit out like now. And the community is like, whoa, stepping up so huge. Like it's crazy how many people have just like reached out and been like, I've already got like 3 leads that are probably, one of them's going to work out really well.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of been the main goal is like, I just want to feel like a little more settled here. And then, musically, it's like, I'm always working towards something. I will say like one project in particular has been, I didn't even mention triple fiddle. Oh my God, I'm such a dummy. So like, triple fiddle has been this like dreamy little thing that's happened with Rachel Calvert from Barbaro and Maura Dunst from the Foxgloves. I met them right when I got to town. There was a bluegrass jam that I popped into, and I was like, oh, 2 girls, yes. And I was like, must be friends. And I had this like idea that I wanted to do this triple fiddle show. If you've ever heard of the Queeby sisters, probably not. They're pretty obscure, but and if you don't really like fiddle music, you would have no idea. Highly recommend.
I have one friend who probably knows.
Okay, good. Hell yeah.
It's the same friend.
Yeah, we know the one dude.
The one dude, I'm sure. The Queeby sisters, they're fucking awesome. And so I had this dream where I'm like, I could do that. And so I asked these girls, and it was supposed to be a one-off show. But we just had the best time doing it. It's an incredible amount of work to come up with these parts and arrangements and practice and all that stuff. So, but that's been a really cool project that's just blossoming. It was totally not expected, and it's one of my most favorite musical pursuings right now that's going on. It just almost like doesn't feel real, It's just like, that's just like a thing that's happening, but it's like a real thing.
You just made that up.
We totally did. It's crazy.
That's so awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah. I mean, this is reality, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We're living. Do you want to talk about music that you love? Music that inspires your music?
Yeah. Yeah, that's always tricky. I feel like that's another thing that's constantly changing. I will say, like, from the beginning, like, when I started songwriting, the one particular artist that inspired me the most was like Bob Dylan, which is so cliche, and I'm almost ashamed to say it, although I'm not. But
no shame, nothing to prove.
Yes, there we go.
Plus, like it's Dylan.
It's Bob Dylan.
I know.
What
it's like duh. But it was one of those things, It's like of this art. Like I knew of this artist obviously my whole life, and songwriting was this avenue that came up because I loved music and I loved writing, and singing was pretty fun and easy for me. So it was like, I was like, oh, I should just like put them all together, right? And I just never listened to Bob because he's kind of an acquired taste off the bat. And then I heard this one song and really listened to it, and it was just like one of those visceral moments, you know, I will never lose that moment in time, and just was aligned with whatever, that form of art in a way that I was like, holy shit, this bust me wide open. It just like, I don't know, it was like a landing pad or something.
Yeah.
So Bob was a real big influence. And yeah, I mean, of course, there's like tons of fiddle players out there. Like Stuart Duncan is one of my favorite fiddle players. And, you know, I wish I had like more women right off the top of my head, but those are the times I grew up in, dude. You know, it's like, finally I'm looking around. Oh, that's the other really fun, amazing thing that's happening to me in the city that I cannot tell you how ridiculously grateful I am. I'm playing with almost all women.
Fuck yeah.
There have been only a couple of groups where like I'm playing with men. Nothing against men. I just have never experienced that in my life.
Yeah. I actually I was just telling this to my dad, who like did not hear me. Sorry, Dad. I've been writing with my friend Gabby, and this is the first time that I've been like really trying to write with another person that's a woman. And it is so beautiful and amazing and like free and
there's some kind of frequency or some kind of understanding, and even for like women, like I feel like a lot of women have problems with women, you know, and it's like, but I think it's all societal garbage that has been put on us, you know, and I think breaking down those constructs and really getting into the women forward communities has been nothing but a fucking joy for me. Like I cannot. And it's just all kind of there. It's just like it wasn't trying. And it's then the thing that's been one of my drives for a long time, being in the music industry, is like I need to start playing with more women. So
and Sammy Jean put together that group, and I was like, fuck yeah.
I know, she was one of the first. I was like, I think this is the first all-girl group.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Very, very cool.
I imagine that's such a good time.
Yes, it really was special.
Hell yeah. Okay, I think that since we want you to play a tune or two, we should wrap up soon. Do you want to plug anything?
Let's see. What do I want to plug? Oh my goodness, I was like not prepared. My website has like all my shows on there. I'm pretty good about updating that. It's just Jackie Rae Daniels music.com. You can always find it through my Insta and Facebook as well, just Jackie Rae Daniels. And I've just got a ton of stuff coming up. So Mortimer's in July. Every Wednesday I'll be there with a different project, and that's going to be really fun.
That's in our neighborhood.
I live across the street.
Perfect. So every Wednesday, there's going to be some kind of kick-ass weird show, from bluegrass to ethereal to like a variety show that I have with a bunch of friends, and some really, really, and a bluegrass project as well. So cool stuff.
We'll see you there.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey.
Thank you.
You got nothing.